and welcome to PCTV News. I'm Georgia May Hurley.
And I'm Lena Howe.
Today, we will be talking about what happened during Principia's homecoming weekend, the cross-country team's Cowbell Classic race, and interviews with the co-director of the International Perspectives Conference, Shirley Mihui, and Principia College Student Body Vice President, Kendall Shoemake.
This past weekend was the International Perspectives Conference. We sat down with Shirley Mihui to talk about the conference.
Sure. So obviously it's the first one this year, and we wanted to lay a foundation for future conferences to come. And so we decided that globalization would be good because it will highlight different perspectives on how the world is becoming more interconnected. And we're hoping that future conferences will look at how the world is growing together or maybe apart depending on your perspective. And so we thought that globalization would be a good foundation because it addresses how people are feeling at the moment about what is going on in the world. That's true. I know a lot of people are upset, particularly African students, when we changed it, but I realized that you can't talk about an issue in isolation. I mean, Pan-African was just looking at the continent, but it wasn't taking into account what was going around the continent. And so if you're trying to address a problem, you need to look at all the pieces that make up that problem. I put a mandate that whenever there's a conference in the future, there has to be an African perspective so that we can continue to address African issues, but we'll hear it and other people can give their perspectives, and that's how you come together at a table. I guess what we wanted from this conference is for people to walk away feeling like, wow, I really think I want to be a global citizen, or I just want to be globally aware in terms of what's going on. And I also want to realize that my perspective is not the perspective, like there are many different perspectives.
The Principia College Orchestra and Choir put on a special autumn concert last Thursday, featuring the theater and dance department. The performance included a celebration of music from the Civil War era. They had a special guest, Patrick McCreary, return to Principia to join the stage as Abraham Lincoln. Several monologues were performed to relive the events from the Civil War. To celebrate our country, the choir sang a rousing rendition of the Battle Hymn of the Republic, where the audience joined in at the end. It was a very patriotic evening. Just a reminder that anyone can request free tickets to the St. Louis Symphony on behalf of the music department.
Principia welcomed back many friends and alumni to campus last weekend for the Principia College homecoming. The weekend started off with a tug-of-war house showdown in the concourse between the Gentlemen of Buck House and the Westies of Lowry. The crowd gathered as the two houses showed off their strength and house spirit. Buck ultimately took the upper hand and came out victorious. The men of Buck also hosted members of the campus on Sunday morning for a Buck breakfast, one of the house's fundraisers.
On Friday night, Lola and the Kickbacks played a concert on the pub patio. This was the St. Louis singer's second performance on campus after playing a solo concert for PAC 2 years ago. Students spent the time with friends and huddled around the warm fires. Saturday morning kicked off with the annual Cardboard Canoe Regatta. Winnie Robinson and Taylor Bookout took a first place with a mighty paddle.
For the rest of the day, the stadiums were packed for the Principia Athletic Games. For more information, let's go to our sports anchor, Tori Silver.
Athletic events packed this weekend to the brim. Each fall sport held a home game to entertain the lively homecoming crowd of alumni and visitors alike. Men and women's soccer both took on Webster University on Saturday afternoon. The men's team fought hard through a double overtime, only to end in a tie of 0-0. Women's soccer fell to Webster with a 3-0 loss. While the Panthers held the team off until the end and showed promising goal opportunities, the Gorlocks scored 2 goals within the last few minutes of the game, resulting in a devastating loss. On the rugby field, the Thunder Chickens competed against the Hornets and came out with a victory of 15-7. The cross-country team set off for the Benedictine Springfield meet and brought back a second-place win for the women and a first place for the men. Way to go, cross-country. The teams also raced at home for their Cowbell Classic last weekend on a new course across from the Gatehouse. The course is where Principia will host the NCAA Division III Cross Country Nationals in 2017. We talked with Coach Chuck Wilcoxon about the competition.
It went very, very well. Both teams came in second. But we had very good races. People ran faster than I thought they would on the course. Nate Richards, one of our sophomore runners, actually had a PR on the course, which was an unusual occurrence because it was very soggy and very hilly. But it was a lot of fun. It was a good way to open up that 8K and 6K course. Well, it's a beautiful course. Everybody can go out and run on it or walk on it, depending on your level of interest in fitness.
Coach Wilcoxon and his wife, Hillary Harper Wilcoxon, also emceed the Gold and Blue Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Saturday night. Principia inducted the writers of Principia's fight song, Ty Anderson, an outstanding football and baseball athlete who later became an assistant coach, tennis player Kristen Martin, swimmer Peter Mering, 3 track and field athletes in the 1966 and 1968 football teams. A huge congratulations to our current athletes and our new Hall of Fame inductees. Back to you, Georgia May.
Thanks, Tori. Hillary Harper Wilcoxon is also co-teaching a class with Jim Hegarty called Experimental Multimedia Ensemble.
I'm Jim Hegarty. I teach in the music department, and Hillary Harper Wilcoxon and I have started a new ensemble this semester. It's called the Multimedia Improvisation Ensemble.
It's really exciting to have this as a multidisciplinary course. I love it. It's really, really fun. There were 2 dancers who sort of had the guts to do it. It's not an easy thing, especially for dancers to do, because it's completely unscripted. And there are very few, if any, parameters.
It's totally improvisational. It's collaborative. We use visual arts, dance, music, sounds, sculptures, all kinds of things. So it's a totally new thing. It hasn't happened here at Print, to my knowledge, before.
You have to be comfortable with ambiguity. You have to be comfortable with embarrassment. You have to be comfortable with the unknown, with absolutely having no clue what you're going to do. It's fun to see that door start to open here at Principia, because it's a very important door for artists to have walked through and to experience that and know that they can do that. They don't have to have rehearsed something for 50 hours and perform it perfectly for it to be meaningful work.
This is the kind of thing that I'm really into. I'm into collaborative performance, where, I work with dancers. I've done a lot of things I've done performances with the Dance Prod and other things with Hillary and other dancers, visual artists in video and projections, multimedia things. It's just something that I'm really into, and we had an opportunity to give it a try, and I thought maybe students would be interested in collaborating. And we're putting together a performance that'll happen at Lewis and Clark on the 16th of November. We're also doing a concert at the end of the semester, along with the other composers that I have as students, and we occasionally perform on music at Davis.
On Saturday night of homecoming, the new band on campus, Lavender, made their first big appearance at the homecoming dance. The band got started when a few of them began collaborating on different songs. Its members Aaron Switzer, Vernon West, Mason Williams, Nate Shuck, and Tom's Musts are all well known for their musical acts at Starbrooks. When asked about the band's unique name, Vernon, who sings lead vocals, said that the name was chosen by a member of the audience at one of the Starbrooks events. The band was nameless and asked the audience to come up with a name. Lavender has stuck with them ever since. On the night of the homecoming dance, Lavender started the evening off right as many people piled onto the dance floor. One of the topics of discussion over homecoming weekend was Elliston and what to do about the old building that needs significant repairs. Here to talk with us about Elliston and other student government issues is Student Body Vice President Kendall Shoemake.
Kendall, could you tell us why you decided to be Student Body Vice President?
Well, Susie and I are huge fans of Principia and the student body here. And actually about a year before the elections, we actually kind of came together and were like, we would like to run, because we just love the student body, and we love having interpersonal communications and interactions just with every student here. And so we wanted a way to kind of do that from an administrative level. And so we decided to run for student body president and vice president. And we have huge Prince spirit, and we wanted to relay that to the student body the best way that we could. I think our biggest goal was increasing the interpersonal communication between the administration and the students, and making it seem like the students had a legitimate voice in what was being done at the top level. But on top of those, we also had goals of increasing house spirit and just making people feel like they want to be at Prin and enjoy their Prin experience and their Principia education.
So with that goal in mind, what is your biggest challenge that you face when you're trying to accomplish that goal?
Well, one thing that has been unique to this year is that in the administration there's a lot of new positions, whether that's new RCs or new Dean of Students. This is technically Deborah's first year flying solo, and there's a new secretary to student life. So just balancing out knowing where to go for help or assistance and knowing where to seek information from has been kind of difficult for Susie and I.
What's week 11? Can you tell us a little bit about week 11?
Well, one of our goals is to increase house spirits, so we organized a huge house games week, or a house spirit week, highlighted by house games that are on Friday night of week 11, and all the houses are going to come together and compete in various games, and throughout the week there will be like concourse decorations and other fun spirity activities, and the winner will receive a cash prize of around $700 and there's other monetary prizes throughout the week. So hopefully that will inspire students to come out and enjoy and show pride for their house, because talking to RCs and any older faculty here, the house pride was a huge thing back in the day at Prin, and so we're trying to bring that back.
That's great. And I noticed that another thing that has been on the docket is talking about bringing back Maury Fieldhouse and Elliston. Can you tell us a little bit about what's kind of going on with those two different buildings?
Well, right now, there's a campaign to raise money to save Elliston, but I can relay the information that there are plans to also tear it down. So unless there is proper funds raised, I'm afraid Elliston will be no more. With Maury Fieldhouse, I know the administration and faculty are looking into renovations to find a practical use, because Maury was actually brought about earlier in the early 1900s by the senior class that decided to fundraise enough money, and Mrs. Morgan was able to match that money. So it's a really historical building to Prin, and it represents some history there. So they're really working on finding a practical application for Maury Fieldhouse.
It's very nice, very nice. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, Kendall. We appreciate it.
That's all for us today. Remember to like us on Facebook, and if you have a story to tell, send us a video with hashtag PCTV News. Remember to tune in again and join us in 2 weeks for our next show. I'm Lena Howe.
And I'm Georgia May Hurley. For all of us here at PCTV News, have a great week.